Hi.
Hello.
Hello. My name is Clark, and welcome to the Cat Golf Show. Now, in a previous video, I said I was going to see Superman with a friend of mine, and we saw it last night. Now, originally, I would have recorded this episode, I guess, last night after I got home from the theater, but I was tired, and I didn't feel like it, and I was editing my novel, and yeah, I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna... And I also didn't look good. Like, my hair was a mess, I hadn't showered, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna save this till tomorrow. So I've had all night to reflect, and in my 4 hours of sleep, I've come to the conclusion that Superman is a decent movie. Now, I was pretty hyped going into it. When I heard that James Gunn was working on it, on a new Superman film, I was like, okay. I'd seen his Suicide Squad movie. I'd also seen Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and I'd like both. I'm not a big superhero movie guy. If that's not, I haven't made that obvious. I'm not. I don't watch Marvel movies. I never. So it's a staple. It's a principle of mine not to buy tickets to Marvel movies just because I don't want to support them. DC, I make an exception, even though I've only seen the Batman, the Suicide Squad, and now the Superman movie. But yeah, James. It's specifically with James Gunn because I do think he's a good filmmaker. I think he's a good writer. So yes, me and my friend saw Superman last night. What are my thoughts? This is probably going to be a brief video. I just wanted to kind of touch on a couple things here, but overall, I thought that it was a good movie. There's definitely a lot going on, and from the limited perspectives that I've seen on the movie, limited reviews, I guess you could say, that I've seen on the movie, because I didn't look up any reviews before going in. I try to go into movies without seeing the trailer, without reading any reviews, because I don't want to bias my opinion. I don't want to prejudice myself to the film. From what I've seen, yeah, a lot of people were like, yeah, there's a lot going on, but it's handled pretty well, and I think personally, it's handled very well. I wasn't confused throughout the movie. Like I wasn't unsure of what was happening at pretty much at all. The story was decently easy to follow. I like that it's not an origin story, and James Gunn is really big on that. I'm pretty sure he doesn't like to waste time introducing characters that we've seen 30 million iterations of. So this movie jumps right into Superman being, doing super shit, and he's got his ass kicked, and blah, 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 whatever. But yeah, I think this movie sets itself aside from other superhero movies, not only other superhero movies, but other Superman movies, because it's very clear that James Gunn, and he's said this, I'm pretty sure I've seen him tweet this out, that he's read the comics of Superman, he loves the Superman comics, and he cares about Superman as a character, and he wanted to make this movie for people who think that Superman is like a dull character because he's invincible and whatever, when it's evident that James went very far to humanize Superman. Throughout so much of the film, Superman is getting his ass kicked. He's depending on his friends who are just humans to bail him out of situations. And I think that goes a long way in making Superman an interesting character. It's also like the guy playing Superman, great actor. Like everyone in the movie, this is going to be a little aside. Everyone in the movie, first of all, everyone is fucking hot. Everyone in the movie is hot. The guy who plays Superman's hot. Lois Lane's fucking hot. Jimmy Olsen's hot. Everyone's hot, bro. Like the whole cast is. Oh yeah, fucking Nicholas Hoult. He's hot as a bald, like fucking bald man. They're all hot, bro. Everyone's hot. But yeah, it's like I see. I'm gonna get off topic now. I really, really like, especially, and this is speaking to Superman being more humanized. I really, really like Lois and Superman's relationship in this movie. I am not a big comics guy. I don't read comics really, or ever. I don't, especially, I don't like superhero comics, especially. I don't pay attention to superhero media very much. So what I know about like DC and Superman is pretty limited. I've only seen the Young Justice show. That's pretty much the extent of my like DC knowledge, and some Batman stuff, of course. Like I said, the Batman. But yeah, my knowledge in DC is pretty limited. But from what I understand, Lois Lane is usually mishandled to some extent. It's like, we don't want her to be the damsel in distress. And it's very clear that James had a very clear vision for her character. And she's very active in this movie. She's doing something. She's advancing the plot independent of Superman. She's not whining to Superman to have him come save her. I don't think there's a single point in the movie where she's in danger and needs saving from Superman. It's their relationship exists outside of Clark Kent's role as Superman, which is really interesting, and their dynamics are really good. And I think they had great chemistry. Like their on screen like romance is believable. Like they were making out, bro. Holy shit. Their makeout scenes were fun. Their kissing scenes were crazy, bro. I was like, damn, they got tongue in there and shit. I was like, damn, okay. I really like their relationship, and it's sort of interesting. And James Gunn has brought the 21st century into Superman. It's like they're not dating necessarily, even though Superman tells her at one point that he loves her before they've said it to each other. He's like, I love you. And she just kind of looks at him and is like, what? And then later on in the movie, she says, I love you too. But I don't know if that's a spoiler. Does that count as a spoiler? Maybe. Their relationship feels very organic. It feels very relatable. It's a modern love story, It's like, well, are we dating? Like, do we want to put a label on it? It's sort of, we're talking, we're romancing, we're making out, we're doing whatever, and we don't necessarily have a label. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. But yeah, Superman, James Gunn goes very far to humanize Superman in this movie, and I don't know if this is a spoiler again. One of his final monologues, I guess you could say, is talking about him being a human and being more human than Lex almost. Not more human, but being just as human as Lex, making mistakes, getting his ass kicked, whatever. And it's very corny, it's very cheesy, but I feel like it works. The universe itself is pretty corny and cheesy. There's a lot of quips, zingers, which is standard to the superhero genre, I guess. But like I said, James Gunn's writing is better than most, I'd say. So it was tolerable. Like, there's just some genuinely funny moments in the movie that had me and the rest of the theater cackling, because it was just like the banter between the characters is great. But yeah, Superman he's not necessarily a boring character, and especially not in this film. James Gunn, like I said, has gone very far to make him seem like a normal guy. He doesn't swear, which I think was very interesting. He like says gosh and darn it, and he's very, very interesting, very corny in that way. He doesn't lose his temper. He doesn't lash out at anyone. I thought there would be a moment where he was like, fully like unleashes his rage or whatever, but that never happens in the movie. He's very careful to maintain his composure and to take responsibility for his actions. He tries very hard not to damage buildings or not to hurt civilians. There's many points throughout the film, and this is very intentional, and it's very obvious. He saves a squirrel at one point from being stepped on by a giant monster or something. He saves a dog. He's like, we got to save the people. We can't kill anybody. The giant creature that's attacking Metropolis. He's like, don't kill it. And, they end up killing it, of course, spoiler. And he's very upset by that. And it's very clear that he's trying very hard to go above and beyond to be good, and not hurt anybody. And I think it's cute. I think it works for his character. I think he's a very sweet and caring person, and it comes through very well with the actor portraying Superman, which I don't know his name off the top of my head, but yeah, I thought the movie was good. I thought it was great. Like I said, I'm not a big Superman guy. I've never been in the camp that I think Superman is boring. I think maybe when I was a kid, I watched like the old Batman and Superman cartoons that were on the channel that became Disney XD. I think it's Jetix or whatever. Fucking shout out to my Jetix rememberers, if you were alive and conscious and cognizant of that era of television. Shout out to you guys. But yeah, I don't really remember too much from that era. But yeah, I never thought Superman was boring. I was just like, yeah, he's a superhero. He's a Superman. He can do whatever. His villains are pretty interesting. Yeah, and also I wanted to talk about Lex too. Nicholas Hoult as Lex is crazy. Like, he walks such a fine line between being zany and wacky and being just, full-on Superman hater and being a petty bitch. And it works so well. It's like you definitely get the feeling that something's not right in his head, but in the moments where he has to be cool and collected, he is. And then in the moments where he's fucking like going off the rails, he's going fully off the rails. Like, he's committed. And his performance was great. It definitely, it's not, so many movies have a character that is like the crazy one, and they don't do anything crazy necessarily. In this movie, Lex is a crazy character, and he acts crazy. Like, he behaves like a crazy person would. And it's good. It's believable. And I don't know much about Lex. The only portrayals I've seen of Lex was, like I said, in Young Justice, and he was very cool and collected in that show, and sort more menacing, I guess, because in this movie, I wouldn't say he's necessarily menacing. He's more conniving than menacing directly, which is fine. It works for his character. This Lex is not buff and, whatever. He's more so just trying to compete with Superman for the public's attention, which is a very interesting angle to take on Lex, I think. We don't really understand why that is. I guess it's just because he doesn't like Superman or whatever. It's not really explained, his motivations, but besides just hating Superman, which I guess is fine. It's not a big deal. We definitely do spend a lot of time with Lex and like his gang of cronies behind the scenes orchestrating whatever is going on with Superman to try to foil Superman, which is interesting. But yeah, like I said, Nicholas Hoult, he really gives his all. And like I said, also, before that, everyone in this movie really gives a great performance. I can't think of anyone who gave a bad performance. Mr. Terrific, I think that was his name. Fantastic, funny character, really, really good. I'd never heard of this character before. I don't think many people had. I think he's like a lesser known character, but he was funny. He was great. I loved his action scene with the fucking orbs and stuff. That was really cool. What's his face? Guy Gardner, or is that his name? The Green Lantern guy. I can't remember. Nicholas? No, not Nicholas. Nathan Fillion, I think, played him, and he was funny too. Very funny. I love the haircut. People clown on the haircut, but it was great. I loved it. Iconic. It was very funny. But he's a funny character too. Yeah, but the dynamics among the Justice Gang, they were great too. I kind of wish we would have spent more time with them a little bit, because we don't really know much about them. But this is, like I said, this is not really an origin story. It's more of an established universe. And like I said, James doesn't want to retread. He doesn't want to retread the origin stories of all these characters. Like, oh, how did we meet the Green Lantern? How do we meet Hawkgirl? How do we get this gang together? He doesn't really want to reestablish that. It's like this movie is set in a universe that has existed for a certain amount of time. Superman is an established form of good in this universe, along with the rest of the Justice Gang as well. And the dynamics are interesting. The characters are great. I thought it was a lot of great action. The action scenes were fantastic. The camera work was great. James Gunn's directorial style is quite interesting to me. He uses a lot of close-ups, and there's a lot of close-ups in the movie, and I was like, okay. I just took note of it every time that there was like a really, really intense close-up of a character, usually in intense dialogue scenes or whatever. But yeah, the dialogue felt natural. It didn't feel overly explanation-y, but there were some points that did. Like the ending monologue from Superman, definitely, like I said, it felt corny, it felt cheesy. Some of the things that the characters say, I guess it's standard, like, explain to the audience type deal, which I can overlook if the movie around that is good, and the movie around this was good. So yeah, I highly recommend you go see it. The theater was actually packed. It's like the most packed I've seen a theater since Longlegs last year, when I went to see that on opening night, and there was a decent turnout for that. But yeah, I almost struggled to get a seat for me and my friend, because he reminded me like Tuesday to get the tickets online because it's going to be a packed theater, and I was like, okay, and I forgot. So then I checked yesterday or 2 days ago, I think Wednesday night, I was like, shit, I forgot to get the tickets, and there was like 2 good seats left, which we did get. But yeah, packed theater, everyone was having a good time. No one was being loud and disrespectful, despite there were quite a few kids there, like families with their kids, and no one was loud or disrespectful. The kids were quiet. Everyone was great during the movie. But yeah, good movie, a lot of heart, a solid heart to the film. The characters are very sweet and caring, and it's so nice to see a DC movie that has color in it. It's not oversaturated. It's got warm tones. You can see colors. It's not fucking grayscale, not black. It's not pitch black like the other DC movies before James Gunn took over. But yeah, I highly recommend you guys go see this movie. For me, it's a solid 8 out of 10. I'd probably see it again, to be honest, for Lois Lane. But yeah, it was a great movie. I highly recommend you guys go and see it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and leave a comment. And I will see you in the next regularly scheduled Cat Golf program. As always, thank you for watching. Ta.